Avital Leibovich is a spokesperson for the Israeli army. She joins us now live from Jerusalem. Thank you very much for taking the time out to join us. Discrediting human rights groups. I never thought I'd see Israel resort to such desperate measures.
On the contrary, we admire the work of NGOs, and to prove this, we have opened dozens of investigations. After they turned to us, we also made the results of these investigations public.
So why are you trying to discredit those mentioned organizations? What are you trying to cover?
Well, naturally, when you have reports that are based on Palestinian hearsay and testimonies that we are not sure how credible they are, it arises many questions. I can tell you that as we speak, we are putting on YouTube, on the IDF spokesperson channel, I filmed evidence of a Hamas militant during cast-led operation. He's armed. He's joining a group of people holding white flags.
Excuse me interrupting. We're talking about these allegations against Israel and the tactic that Israel is now using to discredit them. I'm just trying to work out to what end. I mean, surely in a democracy you should be able to say what your findings are, and this seems to be a case of shooting the messenger when you don't like the news.
Well, we have made public many of the results of our investigations, and we don't hesitate to do so. However, this organization chose time after time not to submit on time the report. The press got
Human
this
Rights
report
Watch
24
and other
hours
organizations
ago.
say every time they try to talk to the Israeli government, there's nobody that's prepared to listen to them. So they have to put these reports together without getting response from you.
Then how come the press got the report 24 hours ago and we got the report only 3 hours ago? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Now, as I said, we do admire the work of the NGOs and we do cooperate with them. We have opened dozens of investigations. This is something you cannot say about Hamas.
Okay, but you've opened dozens of investigations. Nothing ever comes out of those investigations. And whenever any report suggests that Israeli soldiers have done something that's against the law, this is negated by Israel. Just this latest one by the Human Rights Watch, they say that Israeli soldiers unlawfully shot and killed 11 Palestinian civilians, including 5 women and 4 children. They were waving white flags.
Well, this is absurd, of course. As I said, we have evidence showing Hamas armed people, armed militants,
we're talking
walking
about
around
Israel's actions.
I
know you're using this to try and get us off the subject, but we're talking about
shoot children.
Okay,
we have no intention, and we never shot
I'm sure
children.
you have no intention,
people
but according to
flags.
the Human Rights Watch, this is based on field investigations of 7 incident sites in Gaza, including ballistic evidence found at the scene, medical records of victims, and lengthy interviews with multiple witnesses. Are they all lying?
We do not behave this way. This is not our policy. And if some wrong things were taken into order, we will mend them. You cannot say this about the Hamas. Over 70% of this operation casualties were terrorists, not civilian. Let's remember this. Let's remember why we entered this operation.
Okay,
it was after 8 long years of restraint by Israel.
We all remember Israel's reasoning for entering this operation, but what we're talking now is your conduct during this war on Gaza. And as you know, under the laws of war, individuals who carry out ordered to deliberately attack civilians are responsible for war crimes. So Human Rights Watch is suggesting that another war crime was committed here when you opened fire on innocent victims carrying white flags.
Israel did not commit war crimes. On the contrary, we did the utmost we could in order to save lives of civilians. Over 300,000 phone calls were made to terrorist homes. Over 2 million leaflets were dropped from the air. We warned the civilians every way we can. This was a complex warfare. This was a war zone in which Hamas worked from within neighborhoods. Hamas used those groups of civilians holding white flags to maneuver themselves from one house to another house, from one street to a next street,
and so
in order to
remind you, when you
themselves.
drop those pamphlets for civilians to leave those areas, those very built-up areas, it's one of the most populated areas in the world, they had nowhere else to go. And of course, Israel is also accused of using white phosphorus, which is illegal.
Well, we gave all those answers in time, and there's still many areas which are not populated. They could go to those areas, for example, areas of evacuated settlements.
Okay, let's leave it there. Lieutenant Colonel Leibovich talking to us from the Israeli army. Thank you very much for your time.